everyone. You all must have been waiting anxiously for the review of CBSE Class 12th Chemistry exam that was held today. So the wait is finally over. We are here with its review. Friends, chemistry is believed to be one of the subjects in which students can score well, and it can help in stretching the aggregate percentage. And today's chemistry exam was no different. Based on the feedback that we have received from the students who appeared for the exam today, we can easily infer that today's chemistry exam was easy, objective, balanced, and straight from the NCERT textbook. As far as the overall pattern of the examination is concerned, so it was same as in 2016 with the specified weightage given to physical, organic and inorganic chemistry. Let's discuss the significant highlights of today's chemistry question paper. I am referring to the set 1 of Delhi region. This paper was relatively shorter in length, and most of the students who have practiced from the NCERT textbook could easily finish the paper within 120 to 140 minutes. CBSE has stuck to its core areas, which remains its favorites. There were no unpleasant surprises in today's question paper, and CBSE has stuck to its core favorite areas, which remains the same year after year. Some of these topics from which the questions are always asked are name reactions, conversions from organic chemistry, flowchart type questions, and IUPAC nomenclature from organic as well as coordination chemistry, isomerism questions from organic and coordination chemistry, the drawing of structure of various inorganic compounds. This also has been remained one of the favorites of CBSE. Reasoning from P, D and F block elements also is a regular feature which was appeared today also. As far as mechanism questions are asked, this time there was a welcome surprise in today's question paper, because there was only one mechanism based question, that too from the same chapter from which the question was asked last year. This time CBSE has asked more numericals from physical chemistry. The trend says that now CBSE is focusing more on the numericals rather than the unnecessary theory in the chapters of solutions, surface chemistry, solid state, electrochemistry and chemical kinetics. And apart from this, there were certain questions from definitions and differences from the theory-based chapter of solutions and surface chemistry. If we look the paper section-wise, then the first section had 5 questions of 1 mark each. There was one good thing in this section this year, and it was that there was no reasoning question in this section. In the previous years, we have seen that there were certain reasoning questions also in the 1 mark question, but this time it was not so. However, the one striking feature was that this time one similarity question was asked between physics option and chemis option. Generally, students tend to learn only the differences, but if students have went through the entire table of difference between physics option and chemis option, they would have easily noticed the 2 points which are similarities between both of them, and this time CBSE has struck on the same point. Overall, the questions in this section were plain and straight out of the textbook. As far as section B is concerned, so there were definition based questions from the theory based chapters of solutions and surface chemistry. Apart from that, students required to draw structures of inorganic compounds, which also is a regular feature of CBSE board examinations. Apart from this, name reactions was this time included in this section, which used to be included in 3 mark question till last year. There was one average numerical also in this section, means it was little bit lengthy and tedious, but those students who have practiced enough from the previous year's board papers must have managed to do this quite easily. Coming on to section C, this section is considered to be one of the most typical sections of the entire paper, and this year also it was no different. The section had all the regular questions which have been appearing in the paper year after year. There was one very good analytical question from the chapter of solutions. It required certain amount of brainstorming from the end of student. Apart from this, there was numerical questions from electrochemistry and it involved a simple definition as well. There were certain differences based questions from the theory based chapters of solutions and surface chemistry in this section as well. And the IUPAC nomenclature of coordination compounds, that also is a very regular feature and it appeared in the same section this year also. Apart from this, some questions of organic chemistry based on conversions and successive reactions were also included in this section. However, one striking notable part of this section was that this time relatively easier question was asked from the chapter of polymers. If we remember, in 2016, a very tricky and very tough question was asked from this chapter. But this time, CBSE has compensated it by giving extremely easy question of only naming the monomer which are required to produce certain polymers. Apart from this, only a definition based questions from biomolecules was asked in this section. It also had a numerical which was to some extent a lengthy and tedious. The students who have practiced well the physical chemistry numericals must easily sail through this. This section also had one question of nucleophilic substitution, which is always an examiner's favorite. Moving on, this time the value based question was asked from the chapter of biomolecules. This is the same chapter from which a tricky question was asked in 2016. But this time, this value-based question was extremely easy and straight from the textbook and would have taken hardly 2 to 3 minutes for writing the answer. So if we see the overall section C and the value-based question, then we can easily infer that this time questions were made further simpler by breaking them down into 2 to 3 parts. The questions were more of objective type in just a subjective format. Moving on, the last section of the paper, which had 3 questions of 5 marks each and with options in all 3 of them, was relatively much easier this time. All questions had 3 or 4 parts which made them even simpler. One of the striking features is that this time no lengthy numericals were asked in this section. Means all the questions were extremely short, easy and straight from the textbook. And this time only one mechanism question was asked in the board examination, and that too was an option. That means if the students wanted, they could not have attempted any mechanism question in the paper. So the overall verdict of Merit Nation says that this year's chemistry paper was easy, objective and relatively shorter as compared to previous year's papers. The physical chemistry portion was very much similar to 2015 and the organic chemistry portions, the reactions, the various examples, the definitions, they were very much similar to the ones asked in 2016. And overall, in terms of areas touched, this time chemistry paper was very much similar to 2014. So the signal is quite clear that now CBSE does not expect students to rote learn various unnecessary lengthy details of the chapter. They want you to be very comprehensive and objective while preparing, so that your preparation is very much in sync with the various entrance examination of engineering and medical colleges. If you have practiced last 5 years board examination question papers, then this year's paper would have been much of a cakewalk for all of you. All the best for your results.